Being a good chef in Space Station 14 doesn't have a specific hard set of rules because there might be reasons in character where you might be doing certain things, like only serving certain dishes or only certain kind of dishes. But there's a golden rule that every chef should uphold, and that is that your counter should always have food for people to eat. If you don't have the food on the counter, you're not a good chef. You're not doing your job. So you can do chef in multiple different ways, but in order to be an efficient chef and be able to cook faster, there's a few things that I do. First of all, the cookbook. It belongs in disposals because you need to go to the appropriate server's recipe page. Delta V has their own recipe page, and Space Station 14 has its own recipe page that is semi-updated. I'm not sure. And you can access it just by typing into Google Space Station 14 recipe list, or if you're playing on a specific server, you might want to type in specific server ss14 recipes. So, besides that, one thing I like to do is I like to take the flour bag, open it, take a large beaker, completely empty it out into the beaker, throw the empty flour back in the trash, get as much water as possible, and we have created 3 lumps of dough. This will be very good, not only if you're making a lot of dough meals, but also because of... I'm gonna need warm clothes because I'm a wizard. And then you just boom, put it in the drain. You have 3 dough, and would I recommend doing that if there is a freezer of any sort. This is more like a crate freezer. There can also be a fridge-looking freezer. You just stuff them in here. You can do it with basic ingredients. You can do it with meat. But basically, this is made so that you don't have to make dough every single time. You just pop it open, grab your dough, and close the freezer. Pretty simple. One simple dish I like to start out with is the meat pizza. You only need 1 dough. You need to take a rolling pin, scatter it up. You need 3 meat that you can find right here. You take a cheese wheel, cut it up, because we'll need a single cheese wedge. Oh yeah, also important. You want to grab the butcher's cleaver and put it on your chef's belt. It's very easy. You can keep the chef's belt open at all times if you want. Just put it back there. If you want to keep it closed, you can use Shift E in order to take it out of your belt. And just repeat it whenever you want to take it out or into the belt. Cut out the cheese. And the single other thing you will need is a tomato. You usually start with some tomatoes, like around 3. If you don't get any tomatoes, you'll have to wait for Botany to make some. And that is where we get to our next point. Botany might help you, Botany might not help you, but as a chef, you should keep a very close relationship with Botany. That will bring you most of your ingredients. Chefing requires a lot of vegetables and fruits that you can only get from Botany. And a great thing about low pop servers is you come as a skeleton crew, so as a chef you get access not just to Botany but also the bartender area, and you can get cream from there, which is used for some recipes. So if you have access to Botany, it's great. If you already know how to do Botany, just go to the Megaseed server, search up tomatoes, wheat, eggplants, these ones. These are the ones that will grow eggs on a bush. Very normally so. And those are the 3 basic crops that you will need, as well as chili, corn. The rest are pretty preferential. You will look at the recipe list and see what you would like to make in a character. However, the basic crops you will need are wheat, tomatoes, and eggplants. Obviously mass produced, because you will need quite a bunch of those. Make sure to weed the area often with a mini rake. You can get a mini hoe, you can get it from the Nutrimax, and that will make sure that your crops are healthy and grow faster. In order to make a meat pizza, you only need 1 dough that you spread out with a rolling pin, 1 cheese wheel, 1 cheese wedge, sorry, and 1 tomato, as well as 3 raw meat that they can get straight from here. We shove them in here and put them on 30 seconds. I got. So if you cook the recipe incorrectly, you might get cooked products instead of the raw ones back. If you cook it incorrectly, it will refund you the products. However, the ones that would be cooked will be cooked. Like you can see here, our 3 raw meats turned into steaks, and that is because we forgot the dough. Always make sure when you put the microwave when you put them in a microwave that everything is final. Look at the microwave, you'll see a list of ingredients right here, and check them with your recipe 100% if everything is correct, if the cook time is correct, and only then press start, or you might regret it all. Just like that, we have our pizza. Pizza. Okay, I just invented a new word for it. Our meat pizza ready. But don't just plop it up on the table like that. It's a whole damn meat pizza. You know what happens when people come up to it? You think they're gonna go to the condiment station, grab a plastic knife from here, cut it up, and start eating it? Nope, that's your job. If you don't do it, what they'll do is they'll grab the entire pizza and eat it by themselves. Your efforts will go completely wasted. You will only feed 1 person with it, and you would have lost an entire 3 raw meats. So take anything that can cut. That's the butcher's cleaver, the plastic knife from here, or a kitchen knife from here. But you should have the cleaver on you at all times if you need to cut something. That's just a great rule of thumb. And you can also spread it out like this if you like to, let people know that there's more than 1 slice on the table. And just like that, it looks like a whole bunch of pizza. And decorating the counter is very important as a chef. If your counter looks like it's loaded with food, people will more likely come up and eat and compliment you on it. Maybe they'll take something they would like, in character or out of character, and it's a very good, nice way to be a chef, and a nice way to get complimented. One other thing you can do is for items that kind of like spread out, is grab a plate and put it under it. So when people take stuff, they'll see that there's a plate under. Basically, like, decorating is the second best thing as a chef. Yeah. Very, very nice to look at. One other important thing as you come into the kitchen is you will not get a bucket. However, you can take a large beaker and alt-click on the cow in order to milk it. And you'll get 80 units of milk. Usually it can give more, it can give less. I had different experiences with a round star cow. Uh, it doesn't really matter. 80 units is a lot. It's like 2 cheese wheels. Because milk is the primary way to make cheese, and you will run out of cheese quite a bit. You only get 2 bottles of milk, 2 jugs of milk. So you will need to preserve your cow, conserve your cow, and most importantly, feed it. If you have access to botany, that is perfect. That means your cow will be well fed. You make some berries, something that you can make a lot of and doesn't need a lot of tending to. Bring it to the cow, throw it over there. The cow will eat it. Sometimes it doesn't feel like eating, but you will eat it eventually. You can also give it water, and sometimes it will drink if it wants to. And after some time, you can milk it again and get more milk. Milk is used in a variety of recipes, obviously, but again, most importantly, it is with creating cheese, because one whole cheese wheel only gives you 3 cheese wedges. And if you got mice, I think they prioritize the cheese, but correct me if I'm wrong. You will probably want to keep the cheese wedges inside the freezer to make sure the mice don't get it if you don't have any mouse traps. Some of the round start freezers will have mouse traps in them depending on what map you're playing on. However, sometimes you will have to ask the janitor, like in common, hey, janitor, could you please bring mouse traps? Or something of that sort. Next, make sure that if you have a big item, it's exactly as with pizza. So we started with a lemon cake on the counter. Big, right? But again, someone can grab it and just eat it up. So again, grab your cleaver and cut up any big item that lets you cut it into little slices. And it looks pretty as well. So yeah, don't hesitate. If you have like a passion for playing chef, doing different recipes, a variety of them, maybe you want to be as efficient with your resources as you can, make as much food as you can. Have your own notepad on your device or in real life. Just grab a notepad and start um, like writing down recipes that you like. Uh, what I do is I write down like a bunch of basic recipes. Like you can make cornmeal dough with that and make tortilla freaking like taco shells, tortilla dough. You can make mozzarella and all of that stuff that you would normally have to look up. Stuff like vinaigrette if you want to make a coleslaw salad. Uh, all of that you would have to remember if you write it down the notepad, and then at a glance, like round start, you look into your notepad and you're like, okay, I can do this very quick, and then you stuff it all into the freezer. Got with the dough, you'll have cornmeal dough, mozzarella, curd cheese, every like base ingredient that you would like. It's very nice. You would then grab it from the freezer and quickly make something that you need, and yeah, it's a very nice tip of that. Also, if you are spawning with, if you are joining mid round and there is already another chef in the kitchen, don't try to grab like items from the floor and whatever they have and start making stuff with them, move stuff around the counter. I am 80% sure they will not appreciate it. I do not appreciate when people do that. I don't think other people appreciate it. I played with other chefs that were really discouraged when somebody else joined their kitchen. If you are late joining as a chef and you wish to help, there's one fun way I found to be a sous chef, which would be organizing things. If you see that certain things are out of order, like stuff is lying down on the ground, you can pick it up and like gently put it to places. Make sure the chef can find it later. Make sure there's no mess. You can make basic ingredients like, as I said, mozzarella, curd cheese, vinaigrette, sauces, tomato sauce, pesto sauce, stuff that the chef might be using. You can ask the chef what he's planning to do and then make some stuff accordingly. You can prep stuff like I did with the dough and milk the cow. You could manage the cow while the chef does other thing. Being a sous chef can be really fun. I had a lot of fun playing as a sous chef because you get a lot of time to do things that you as a main chef would not be able to do. For example, again, making the base ingredients, getting mouse traps for the mice, managing the cow, looking up ingredients, writing it in the notepad. The main chef would be really concerned with setting up how the counter looks and making sure that the people are well fed. On high population, they will have to make food very quickly and it'll be hectic. So if you do something out of place, like messing with their stuff, they would definitely not appreciate it. They would probably may have an outburst. I'll be honest. Being a chef can be very stressful. It's pretty much as busy of a job as making cams. You're always in some sort of menu. You're in a beaker. You might be in the microwave. You're opening your browser to look at something. You're browsing vendors. You don't really have enough time to look around. And that's what you can do as a sous chef. You can grab a variant cube box. It used to be just the monkey box, but the variant cube box has cobbled boxes and monkey boxes. I just use monkey boxes, so I'm not yet sure what the cobbled ones do. So this is, if you didn't know, as a chef, this is your primary way of making meat. So when you take a monkey cube out, you have to press Z in order to unwrap it, or maybe click on it while it's in your hand, and you'll have a brown one. This is what you need. Then you take a beaker or container of any sort, fill it up with water, and just one unit will turn it into a monkey. But boom! The monkey has taken a rolling pin. The rolling pin is a weapon, and it can hurt you. You need to make sure that the monkey cannot fight back. This is going to be the very psychotic section, but you need to right click, monkey, strip, and take away the rolling pin. You can stuff it in your pocket and grab the toolbox. Basically make sure that the monkey cannot grab anything that can hurt you. Stuff, I recommend giving him like harmless stuff like fruits and vegetables. They can't do anything with this onion, for example. You set them up right above the drain so the blood goes right in there, and you start waking them. You just keep clicking on them, smack them until they are done for. And by the way, this can be heard in like every department around. It's usually quite loud, so the chef's place is pretty loud, you can say, when it comes to this. Some people view chefs as complete psychos because some people like to roleplay quote unquote as cannibals and then get banned, but it's kind of funny. So what you do after it's dead, you drag its body onto the meat spike and make sure not to do anything while it's doing that because it's a very long process. Swapping your hands doing anything will interrupt it. And while you are seeing this grotesque image, I recommend... That's creepy. Yeah. I recommend clicking on the edge of it. You can click anywhere here in order to start, extracting meat from the monkey. I recommend clicking on the edges though, because if you click like somewhere on the center, you will accidentally click on the meat and it will cut it into cutlets. If you don't necessarily need cutlets, which is most of the time, you need to click like on the edge, so it will only cut the monkey and not the meat that you have produced. So be wary of that. And here's a very important part. Each monkey gives 3 raw meat, and you need to keep raw meat in a frozen environment. If you have a freezer room, you have to make sure that this thing, the freezer, is on. When it's on, you press E or just left click on it. It will say it's on or off. Make sure it's on. Temperature will be set by default, so you probably don't mess with that. It will make this like green pulsating sound. If it sound. If it's off, it will look like that. If it's on, it will look like that. Sometimes it will be off, sometimes it will be on, so don't ignore it. If you're not very sure or you just want to store the meat where you need it, just use a freezer. As I said, this is a very good way to store the most basic ingredients, especially raw meat that can spoil and stuff that you don't want to get grabbed by the mice. Again, you cannot store a lot of things in these. They have a special capacity, so does the freezer. So you put like the important stuff that can spoil in the freezer, and then you can just take it and do whatever with it without having to go into the freezer and looking into some kind of pile. So that should be about it for the chef guide. Make sure that your counter is well decorated and full of variety. The complexity of ingredients shouldn't scare you. If you have a competent botanist that is also a nice person, they will take kindly to your request. You just come up to them like, hey, I need this and that, thank you. And they might bring it to you in a plant bag or just, dump it over here and then you just grab it from the freezer and bring it to your workplace. Use your PDA, use the internet to find all the recipes. Have a notepad if you want to mark down something important that you want to check every time. Cut up your pizzas and cakes. As well as if you want to be like a super professional chef, one very detailed thing you can do, also RP wise, there are vegan options, and there are also things that certain species cannot eat. For example, a bunch of species cannot eat chocolate. Lizards cannot eat chocolate. Volcanids cannot eat chocolate. It's basically poison for them. So you can have like a diverse set of items. Meat pizzas can be eaten by almost anyone. You can make a cotton pizza or cotton soup if you have mouth, or just throw some cotton balls in here and moths will eat it up. You can ask on radio if anyone has certain, allergies or food preferences. Maybe somebody's a vegan. It's not common, but it can happen. I've seen it happen on Delta V. There was somebody that was a vegan, so they would have their own food preferences. So yeah, test it out, experiment, cook more meals. Usually, it will just as the more you cook, it will become muscle memory, and yeah, enjoy.